Chicago. Joining me now with more is the former Speaker of the House, former Georgia Congressman, and Fox News contributor, the author of March to the Majority, author Newt Gingrich. Mr. Speaker, always a pleasure. Thanks so much for being here.
Glad to be with you.
Give us your reaction to all that you've seen at the DNC this week, and I also want to get your take on how tight these polls are, Newt.
Well, look, I think, first of all, the enormous contrast. The Democrats have a convention of continuity. You had, President Obama, you had President Clinton, you had Hillary Clinton, you had Nancy Pelosi. So if you wanted to see the national establishment gather, it's right there in Chicago. On the other hand, when Calista and I went to the Republican convention, it's really a new Republican Party. You didn't have former presidents, you didn't have former vice presidents. You really had a change in the very nature of the Republican establishment. So I thought the contrast of the two very different parties was fascinating. Second, the Democrats are engaged in a, I think, desperate and realistic effort to make sure you don't actually know who they are. I was very struck, for example, when Michelle Obama had this nice quote from her parents that they said, don't trust people who get too much, and you're listening to a person who owns 3 mansions. And she doesn't seem to connect the difference. And you have this constant gap between what they'd like you to believe and reality. So I actually think, Maria, you have two fascinating, exactly opposite campaigns. The Democrats want you to focus on personality and avoid policy. The Republicans want you to focus on policy and avoid personality.
Yeah.
And it will be fascinating in the next few weeks to see which of those campaigns dominates.
Well, I mean, you're right, but you hear things from, for example, President Clinton last night saying, let's choose peace over war. I mean, I was sitting there struck when he said that because there were no wars under President Trump. I mean, did they forget that the Democrats have been running things 12 of the last 16 years? They've been in charge. So a fresh face, a fresh start? No, it's the same face.
Well, and it's also a kind of stupid comment which typifies modern liberalism. Of course we would all love peace. Explain then how 1,200 Israelis got killed on one day, many of them brutally, some of them babies. You don't think the Israelis would have chosen peace? You don't think the Ukrainians would choose peace? The fact is, in 1862, if we had chosen peace, the South would have seceded and slavery would still exist. If we had chosen peace in 1942, the Nazis would still be in charge of Europe. I mean, this is exactly what's wrong with modern liberalism. It has these great lines that have no meaning and are not touched to the real world. It's like Kamala Harris on Friday talking about how great the economy is, and we learned yesterday that there's an almost 1 million job decline in the recording of the federal government, that they were just off by 1 million jobs that didn't exist and that the Democrats were really proud of.
Well,
so
that's right.
I do think you have this whole issue. Let me just say, I think the problem with modern radicalism is it has no roots in reality. It wants you to believe in its fantasy, and it wants you not to look at the truth.
Yeah. Well, Harris rolled out a partial economic policy, which includes federal price fixing, raising the corporate tax rate to 28%, 44.6% capital gains tax, and a 25% tax on unrealized gains. Walz is promising tax cuts for home buyers. He said that last night, but he's forgetting to mention that the median price new home monthly mortgage payment is up 85% under the Biden-Harris administration. Watch this.
Kamala Harris is going to cut your taxes. If you're getting squeezed by prescription drug prices, Kamala Harris is going to take on Big Pharma. If you're hoping to buy a home, Kamala Harris is going to help make it more affordable. And no matter who you are, Kamala Harris is going to stand up and fight for your freedom to live the life that you want to lead.
Yeah, Newt, is anybody buying this? Kamala Harris is going to do all this stuff for everybody. Meanwhile, she's been in office 3.5 years and hasn't done any of it.
Look, I think in the short run, they're going to have a nice run up to about Labor Day, and then it's all going to sink in. I remember in 1988, when the Democrats came out of their convention, Michael Dukakis was ahead by 17 points. He lost by 8. That means that between their convention and the election, 1 out of every 4 Americans switched from Dukakis to George H.W. Bush.
I see.
The truth is, if Kamala Harris is going to do all this, she said 1,400 days. She said the other day on day one. Well, day one was, in fact, January 20th, 2021. She has been in the government. She has been next to Joe Biden.
Yeah.
She's been in the White House. And what we're getting now is a purely political, I hope you're dumb enough to believe this, kind of campaign.
Wow. Doug Collins, jump in here.
Hey, good morning, Mr. Speaker. It's good to talk to you again. The question here, though, and I made this comment last night talking about the convention, it seemed to be, you talked about the contrast. It seems to me what they're wanting to do is set up the straw man argument versus the reality. They don't want to talk about the economy. They don't want to talk about the immigration policy. They don't want to talk about foreign policy. So they set up things that have never been talked about, like keeping people from religion, keeping people from, practicing their faith, practicing their lifestyle. The First Amendment, which is amazing how they're saying that they're being kept from saying what they want to say when it's the exact opposite. Do you see this straw man argument continuing, or are they going to have to pivot at some point?
Sure. No, if they can avoid it, they're never going to pivot. Look, take Governor Walz. Governor Walz, during the pandemic, closed churches, all the churches, a very anti-Catholic move, by the way, but allowed Mall of the Americas to stay open for what they called, retail therapy. So if you wanted to reduce your tension, you didn't go to church, which was illegal, but you did go to Mall of the Americas. This kind of stuff, Kamala Harris wanted to bail out the people that Walz did not want to arrest. So you have in the riots, which were terrible in Minnesota, you have Walz refusing to bring in the National Guard, dragging his feet. You have his wife opening the windows and saying publicly on radio, she did it because she wanted to smell the burning tires. Apparently they thought it was a great revolutionary moment. Now he would like us to believe he's just this good old boy from a small town in Nebraska, which he is, except somehow the good old boy became a left-wing radical. He is more radical than Bernie Sanders.
Wow.
And the ticket, the Harris-Walz ticket, is the most radical ticket in American history.
Well,
and I think that they will not be able, the mask is going to slip off. They can't sustain it.
Yeah, well, we'll see if the voters actually fall for it, Newt. That's the thing. I mean, there's people out there who are falling into line, given the direction from the leadership of the Democrat Party. But we'll see what happens after this convention. Newt, it's great to see you this morning, as always. Thank you, sir.
Good to see you.
Former Speaker Newt Gingrich.